through our curriculum materials. We're very fortunate that our work has been recognized and supported by many, many donors. So over $85 million in funding has been given over time and then reinforced and supported again and again to help this work, which is why we're able to do things differently than many other publishers. As I was preparing to come and talk to you all today, I couldn't help but think about the work that I've done in Lake County. And so I know that this is our mantra as we think about our UC2 Ready. But what we really want to consider are the faces of these children that we're teaching, and we're considering what it is that they need in order to be college and career ready. And we can consider these skills that are going to help them in order to be prepared and work and live in the 21st century. I'm a kindergartner myself, so I can very easily imagine what I would like her to experience as she moves through her schooling. But I also want you to think about this question. As a teacher, what are your hopes and anticipations about how this adoption can help your students be C2 ready? So I'm going to ask you to use this question as a lens during our time today, also as a lens when you're reviewing the materials back at your school sites, to really consider what materials will help to really make this difference in the way that we're teaching our students, the way that we're meeting the demands of the Common Core and preparing them for their futures. So we're going to spend some time at the beginning of our session today to have a lesson experience. We're going to jump right in to a grade 5 comprehension lesson. And you'll find that this lesson, as I mentioned before, has an academic focus and a social focus. When you're experiencing this lesson, you don't have to pretend like you're 5th graders. You can stay as adults. But I'm going to ask that you try and stay in the lesson experience. And then when we come out of the experience, we'll debrief it together. And we can answer questions and talk about things that you noticed. You'll also see that the Common Core alignment for this lesson is there at the bottom of your screen. We have a Common Core alignment tool that will help you to do that with all of our materials. So we'll be reading an excerpt today from Star of Fear, Star of Hope, written by Joe Hostland, illustrations by Joanna Kong. And the setting of this story is in France during World War II. And as I'm sure you know, during this time, Germany conquered France and much of Europe. And the Nazi rulers of Germany really believed that they were a superior race. And they identified the Jews and many other races and individuals as being inferior to them. They were forcing them from their homes into concentration camps where millions were killed. And they were also requiring that many Jews wear a yellow Star of David on their clothes. They be sewn into their clothing so they could be easily identified. There were many people who tried to help the Jews by hiding them, but others that helped in the persecution. As I'm reading today, I'm going to stop at different points and ask you to think about the text and to think of what questions you could ask about the text. So before I get started, if you could just make sure you have a sticky note near you, something to write on, and then I'll let you know when in the text we're going to stop and use it. So, Star of Fear, Star of Hope. My name is Helen, and I'm nearly an old woman now. When I'm gone, who will remember Lydia? That is why I want to tell you our story. In 1942, the north of France was invaded by the German army. Neither the war nor the Germans could keep Lydia and me from going to school or playing together or getting into fights and making up, the way friends do all over the world. One day while we were playing, Lydia's mother sewed a yellow star onto Lydia's jacket. I said, "What a pretty star." Lydia's mother answered, "Pretty or not, we have no choice. Every Jew must wear it. It's the new law." Lydia's mother finished sewing on the star. "The place for stars in the sky," she said. "When people take them down from the sky and sew them on their clothes, it only brings trouble." She broke the white thread with a sharp pull of her teeth and said, "Stars at morning better take warning. Stars at night, hope is in sight. So let's hope." I could see they were worried about these stars, so I stopped talking about them. I even stopped thinking about them, until one day. It was July 15th, 1942. And Helen goes on to describe how excited she is, because the next day, July 16th, is her 9th birthday. And so to celebrate her birthday, she has Lydia come over, and they get to have a slumber party at their house. And Helen's parents aren't home, because they work until late at night. And so together, Lydia and Helen are reading comic books and telling scary stories about zombies. And then we find in the text that suddenly we heard something coming up the stairs. Strange. Usually everyone was asleep at that hour. The sound of footsteps came right by my door. Lydia and I could feel our hearts beating very fast. I got up with Lydia right behind me to make sure the door was locked. It was. Phew. Then I peeked through the keyhole. A woman was standing at the door across the hall, scratching on it like a cat. She kept saying, "Open up, it's Madam 11 o'clock. Open up, it's Madam 11 o'clock." What question can you ask about the story right now? Jot it down to yourself.